Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to this course on the foundations of AI and automation. My name is Solomon Christ, and I'm so grateful that you joined me on this incredible journey to learn AI. These courses and programs, you're going to get a structured level of teaching that's going to help you to understand AI better and also be prepared as this thing is changing every single day. Now, you don't need a tech degree to master all this AI stuff, but at the same time, it will help if you do come with a technical background. Now, this first program should take you several hours to do. And so take your time, walk through it step by step, and for sure, take some notes. And so what are you waiting for? Come on in and join us in the course, The Foundations of AI and Automation, Level 1. So welcome to the Foundations of AI and Automation. This is your journey to mastering AI without a tech degree. Now, as I said, you don't need a tech degree to master it, though it will help if you've got some technical background. All right. The main thing, though, for sure, regardless of whichever background you've got, you got to have intent and consistency. All right. It's daily learning every single day, nonstop. So it's important that you learn and you get into that mindset of every single day, touching base, spending an hour or two, and just really diving into AI and automation. And you're going to do yourself really, really well as you enter this incredible industry. Over these next years, AI is going to start touching every single part of your life, from being deeply integrated into our daily routines, automating tasks every single day. You're going to have AI powered assistants that are going to be managing your schedules. They're going to be summarizing information. They're going to be helping you out with even your mental health and well-being, talking to virtual friends. I mean, that is a thing, and it's going to get more and more prominent as AI continues to grow. And some of the keys of success in this industry is not being that technical person, but now becoming that problem solver, becoming the person who is willing to learn and adapt and constantly focus and being consistent every single day in keeping up with these latest technologies. It is going to help you to save time, to save money, to increase the hours that are in your day, while others are going to be doing things the old way. And you're going to start seeing that people are going to continue to do the exact same things, and it'll take them hours and hours and hours what will take you minutes or even seconds. Now, those who start embracing this world of artificial intelligence and these new technologies are going to be the ones who are early adopters of some of the newer forms of those technologies, including AI robots. That's right. It is a thing. All the way to the point where you actually saw the very first, robot boxing match in China. And as well as, you're seeing this already in various different places of business here in North America. You can go down to a Walmart and you're going to start seeing, a robotic cleaning machine. And it goes around and, it's detecting the people around it. You're seeing self-driving cars coming out. There's going to be AI robots everywhere. And these digital beings are going to be a part of our lives. Another big thing is called artificial general intelligence. And this is where AI gets to a point where it can start thinking for itself. It can start reasoning and, really get to that level where it is now human-like, thought processes. Right now, however, we're not there, and we are in the world of what we call large language models and systems like ChatGPT, which, many of us are using today, and that's changing already the way we live and work. However, as you're going to come to learn, large language models and AGI are very, very different things. And so at the end of the day, AGI is the goal, and you're going to see a lot of companies that are really pushing for that, but we're still many, many years out from AGI, in my opinion. Now, AI isn't about, replacing human beings. It's about augmenting our current experience and enhancing pretty much in many ways our capabilities. A lot of people worry that AI is going to replace you, but honestly, it's not that AI is going to replace you. It's going to be people who know how to use AI that are going to replace you. That's going to happen in your workplace. That's going to happen with, business. It's going to happen in, places that you never expected, and they're just able to outdo you in a matter of seconds, which would have taken you hours or days or weeks. They're going to be able to do a lot faster because they're taking advantage of these newer technologies. Now, there's a lot of cool things that you can actually do with AI. All right, so AI allows you, especially in the generative AI, area, you could do a lot of cool things such as generating AI music, generating AI images, and even generating AI video. Things like Suno and Udio make it easy to make AI music, and the quality is incredible. AI generated images can be created using things like Midjourney or even DALL-E and several other different AI systems, generative AI systems that allow you to create some incredible visuals. And of course, getting right into AI generated videos where you could create human-like people or beings or creatures or anything you can imagine. And this is giving rise to all kinds of incredible things that are coming out. Synthesia is a perfect example. It can, replicate a virtual avatar, a virtual human being, and it could speak in over 150 plus languages. We're at the point where we can actually replicate ourselves and make ourselves, completely cloned. And that does bring up, a lot of questions as to privacy and other concerns. But the fact that we're already at this point is incredible. So here we are, for example, in Suno and Suno.com, and it's incredible. I'm going to just show you an example of the type of music that we can make. So here we go. I'm creating a tutorial on AI and automation, and I want a song about that. Include things like Chat GPT, N8N, and let's say Google Gemini. All right, so there we go. So I just did that there. And the type of, music style or genre that I want, let's see here. So let's get into like some drum and bass. So let's kind of give that an idea there. And let's listen to what it actually generates.
Wired minds in the digital maze. Sparks fly as the circuits blaze. Chat GPT whispers in the glow, teaching us all the things we should know. And Maven spins its automation spell, connecting the dots where chaos dwells. Google Gemini, stars so bright, guiding the way in the endless night. Rise up machines, let the rhythm run. AI encode in the setting sun. Automation's pulse, a beat so loud. We're dancing now in a binary crowd. Rise up machines, let the rhythm run. AI encode in the setting sun.
Oh man, that is so good. That is so good. So it gives you an idea of the types of things that generative AI can do. And it is really, really powerful that it could do that. Think about the, future of music. And I know it's a challenge, but this is what's going to be happening. Now it's no longer, a thing of just, can I actually sing these lyrics or can I actually, get the beat right? It's literally now focused on creating, songs that move you. And in fact, think about the future of custom music. Like literally you could have your own, soundtrack for you as a human being. Just imagine you can actually go out there and there will be devices in the future that will literally allow you to have your own personal soundtrack. That's like incredible to think about that. And there's so many different applications for something like this. And you're going to start seeing more and more of this coming into, the world around you. And that is going to be exciting. Imagine birthdays, weddings, imagine, opportunities where now music can be custom built for your life. Imagine making your own motivational songs or making your own birthday songs, whatever it is, there's going to be brand new businesses made just from things like this. And here we are now in ChatGPT, and we're actually going to have it generate an image. So I said, generate an image about my course on AI and automation and, N8N and ChatGPT. And so let's see what it comes up with. And check out what ChatGPT created. This is pretty cool. It just took, some of my text and information and it outputted this. Now that is pretty powerful. And here's another one called Kling, which will literally take my text and convert it into video. And here we go. Check out the video that Kling made, with, this prompt here, a video game character battling, a boss and winning. Use a fantasy role-playing style in an open world setting and make it look beautiful like a poster. Check it out. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? So as you can see, there is a lot of incredible things that AI can do. Now, before we dive in deep, just a little disclaimer. This is your journey and it's your responsibility. This course provides educational content and personal insights. It's not legal or financial advice. You're solely responsible for the outcomes you achieve. That being said, this is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Look, What works here may not work for everybody. Your goal is to adapt these systems for your own unique goals and circumstances. And you are the architect. Listen, AI is a powerful tool, but you're the one who gets to decide how you're going to use it in your life. I encourage you to ask questions and embrace continuous learning and adapt these systems to your needs. This is your journey, and hence it is your results. The path forward depends on what you're going to put into it, and you're only going to get out of it what you put in. If you are consistent with the application of the skills that you learn here, so apply the tools that you learn to the specific challenges that you've got, adapt the solutions to your unique circumstances, embrace continuous learning, and build a blueprint for your own AI-powered life. Now look, this program is not just an educational course. It's your blueprint to the greatest life ever lived. And it starts now, a life of enhanced success and freedom, something that AI and automations can bring to you by getting you your time back. Consider this the very beginning of your journey. We're going to provide you all the foundational knowledge you need for AI, and then give you the basics that you need to get up and running in tools like N8N and ChatGPT to solve real-world problems and challenges. And the hope is that with the knowledge and skills that you get here, you're going to be able to live a more successful and efficient life. By the end of this course, you're going to have a solid grasp on many of the basics of AI, understanding what LLMs are, understanding more about AIs, and of course, what are the many various AI opportunities out there. You're also going to start learning the tools of the trade, things like ChatGPT, how to be, a prompter and, prompt engineering, as well as what automation is and how to use it and where it's used. And finally, you're going to get the basic AI skills, a knowledge of how AI started, being able to prompt better and get better results from the AIs that you're using already. Later on in this program, we're even going to show you how to use ChatGPT on your phone, thus actually making your smartphone a very powerful AI assistant. So let's start off at the beginning. What is AI? This is a big question. A lot of people are just like, wow, it's this magical thing and it's smart and it's got knowledge and information and it's like intelligent. Well, first let's just, cut out those myths, okay? AI is not intelligent. I repeat, okay? AI is not intelligent. It simulates intelligence, so people think that it's intelligent, but it is not actually intelligent. It is patterns. That's what it is. It is a probability engine. All right. So what that means is it is a mathematical system and it focuses on probabilities and pattern matching. You could think of AI as a library and there's books there. And these books are large language models and they can't be changed unless, you've got the author to rewrite those books or even extend those books. So once a model is trained, its internal information or knowledge, they're fixed. They can't change unless they're fine-tuned or retrained. Perfect example is if the book of Macbeth is always going to be the same story. I can read it 1,000 times. It's always going to be the same story unless I go and find Shakespeare and have him write another chapter in that book. Or if I fine-tune it by, let's say I rip out some pages or I use some whiteout or some ink and I erase some things, well then that's the only way that the story can change or kind of shift. But other than that, the information that's in those books is pretty much the exact same and it's fixed. The same is true of large language models. Once they're trained, which takes a lot of time, money, energy, and power, it is fixed information. Now, with this fixed information, these large language models and systems, they use pattern recognition and various forms of rules and systems to actually understand how to actually access this data and find these patterns. It's not magic. It is math and patterns. They learn patterns from vast data sets. They identify relationships between certain concepts, and then they follow certain rules to produce the outputs. There are several ways that AI can be trained, and each type of training leads to a different type of large language model. Supervised learning, for example, is basically focusing on labeling the data set. So if I take a photo of, let's say, this over here, this is an actual battery pack, external battery for a phone, a cell phone. And I actually label this and I say to the AI, this is a battery pack. All right. Well, now it knows that that's a battery pack, but it required me, a human being, to actually label this. If, however, I do not label something, and let's say I just showed AI this, just the receipt that I got at, one of the stores down the street. Well, I know it's a receipt, but the AI doesn't. So it's just going to say, this is something, all right? And so now if I actually show this battery pack, well, it'll say this something and this something don't match. So I'm going to call this A and I'm going to call this B. Now I've got something else here. So now I'm going to say, well, this here looks kind of like A. So guess what? I'm also going to group it in A. There we go. That's unsupervised learning. So now it's actually found patterns, but without it being labeled. One of the challenges is that, it's harder to actually evaluate the accuracy and success of something that's not labeled versus something that is labeled. It will be highly accurate. However, it is costly both in time and money. Now, the challenge is unsupervised data, which is just kind of guessing. It's going to be fast because it doesn't need, the labeled data, but it's harder to get, an accurate, experience from this versus supervised learning. Well, if the data is all labeled, you're going to get higher results with better accuracy. And then finally, we've got something called reinforcement learning via human feedback, or RLHF. Now, this is where a human being is put into the loop. And so now, if I say, what is this? And the LLM comes back and it says, well, this is a receipt. If that's correct, me as a human being, I'll say, okay, it said it's a receipt. I'm going to give it 1 point. But now, if I show this to the AI, which is the battery pack, I say, what is this? And it says, this is a receipt. Then I, as a human being, I give it a score of 0. Then it says, oh man, I did not get that because I lost points there. All right. So now if I show it another receipt and it says, you know what? Last time I got 1 point by saying the word receipt. I'm going to try that again. Oh, receipt. 1 point again. Wonderful. Now, that goes back and forth, and it requires a human being to actually approve it. Now, the data is only as good as the actual human beings approving this stuff. And so that's going to be the challenge, depending on where in the world the human beings were, right? They may actually provide a data set that matches that part of the world. And so that's another set of challenges when you're looking at LLMs that have been trained, completely on a different, user base, when instead it should have been trained, let's say, with users in North America, but maybe it got trained with, users in India or China or the Philippines instead. So a perfect example of that is, what color would people wear at a funeral? And, with reinforcement learning with human feedback, well, if I actually showed that message and let's say the AI said, white, well, guess what? The human beings of that part of the world would actually agree and say yes, because that's actually what they wear usually, when someone passes away. But over in North America, for example, everyone wears black usually. And so that is the actual, irony in the reinforcement learning with human feedback is depending on who the human beings are, the data may actually be incorrect. And that's why it's important that we actually get the correct people. And on top of that, it is also labor intensive. So it does require a lot of time and money to hire these people, and they have to be there, and it is costly, and there's only limited scalability. All right, welcome to your first quiz. Number 1, what is AI fundamentally? Is AI a system that recognizes patterns and makes decisions based on data? Or is AI a magical force that understands and learns like humans? If you guessed the first one, you're absolutely right. AI is a system that recognizes patterns and makes decisions based on data. At this moment in time, AI does not have the capability to actually understand what it is doing. But we are getting there. With the constant research into AGI, we may actually see intelligence of some kind at a higher level in the coming years ahead. Next, how does AI learn? Does AI learn by various methods, including supervised, unsupervised, and RLHF? Or does AI learn by memorizing facts like humans do? Once again, if you answered the first one, you're right. There are several different ways that AI learns. One of them includes supervised learning, another one is unsupervised, and the last one is reinforcement learning via human feedback. The next one is, do you need a tech degree to learn AI? No, you just need intent and consistency, or yes, advanced technical knowledge is required. If you answered the first one, you're correct. Though it is, preferred if you've got some technical background, You don't really need to, have a tech degree to actually start learning about AI. What you do need, though, is intent and consistency. Show up every day, learn every day, work hard, and you're going to be able to understand AI a lot better than a lot of people who don't even do that. What is an LLM? Is it a large language model, or does it stand for live, laugh, meditate? If you chose number one, great job. It is a large language model. All right, let's move on. So what is an LLM? Well, a large language model is a predictive text engine. LLMs guess the next most likely word based on patterns it learned from the training data. All right, so remember the patterns that I was telling you about, especially in the unsupervised learning portion, but even in the supervised one, it's still, got certain patterns that it follows. That means that LLMs are not truly intelligent. They're just following patterns in math. They don't know or understand the information like human beings do. So you could think of LLMs as really, really sophisticated autocomplete on steroids. So when you're working with something like ChatGPT, it's going to take your text and it's going to break it down, and it's going to, determine the probability of the very next word based on everything that came before it. So for example, if you told it a small furry pet that purrs is it could be, a lion. It could also be a cat. Which one should it be? Well, lions are big. They're not that small. Maybe a lion cub, but, a cat is probably closer to that. Dog, yeah, probably not. Maybe a very small percentage might actually do that. I highly doubt it. A deer, definitely not. And, most likely it's not going to be an ape. I'm going to go with cat. And that's exactly what it does. It determines the probability of what that next word is. And so once it determines what that is, it's going to show you that. And many times it's accurate, but sometimes it may actually say something like dog, or it might say, a lion cub. And even though, that that's wrong, it has now, given its best option. And that's where tweaking the model will change what it is. So if you say, be very, very strict, and I'm not allowing you to, make a guess that's higher than X amount of probability, well, then it may actually go to cat a lot more than lion cub, versus if I say, it's okay, be creative. I'm going to let you go a little bit further in the probability score. And, you're going to go off to 1.0 instead of, 0.5. So now it'll say lion cub instead of cat. And that's because it decided to do so. This is the sort of things that tweaking the LLMs can do. So keep that in mind. LLMs are not intelligent. They're not magic. They are math and patterns. So what are some of the things that, help us to, say that something is intelligent? Well, does it know what this is? All right. Chances are it doesn't know. So that's one of the things, right? It's going to predict what the next word is, but it really doesn't know. You know what I mean? That's a big key difference. Number two is, does it understand? They are just doing patterns, and that's in what we call a vector database. And you're going to learn that in just a little bit, but it doesn't understand what these things are. It just knows that they have a probability of appearing somewhere higher than something else. And they don't think. They simply process responses based on learned patterns, and that's it. But a human being has actual comprehension of the meaning. We have a contextual reason beyond patterns, and we also have the ability to ask clarifying questions. Whereas LLMs, they focus on, statistical pattern recognition, probability-based word, selection, and sequential word predictions. So the magical illusion is that they're very fast and they perform at massive scale, so that we think that this thing is intelligent when really it's not intelligent. It's just predicting things. So what are vector databases? A vector database is something that stores words and concepts as numerical coordinates in three-dimensional space, or something that we call a vector format. It has a point in 3D space and a direction. So how it works is that a word or a sentence or even a document is converted into a vector, or a list of numbers representing its location in meaning space. All right. And so similar concepts, they're placed closer together. And thus, you've got, let's say, the cat or the lion cub, and, all the different species of the cat family very close to each other, whereas the dog family may be somewhere else in, vector space. So the AI uses math to reason about relationships between these ideas. Concepts with similar meanings, as I said, are placed closer together in that space. Vector databases enable AI to perform rapid, context-aware searches and retrieval, making it feel like it has memory when it actually doesn't. So what ends up happening is a vector database stores and searches high-dimensional embeddings. Embeddings is a very important word. All right, an embedding can be a numerical representation of data like text, images, or audio. And then it uses that to quickly find the most similar items based on meaning or context, and enabling AI to retrieve relevant information efficiently. So when you start using vector databases, you're going to see things like embeddings a lot. And that's going to allow you to add data to a vector database to actually train an AI model to use that data and that new information. This is how RAG applications are made. So RAG application, what is a RAG? A RAG is a retrieval augmented generation type of application. It's an AI framework that combines the strengths of traditional retrieval systems, such as searches and databases, with the capabilities of a generative large language model. So for example, as I told you earlier, when it comes to LLMs, once they've been trained, you really can't change that data. But then how do we give it brand new data? Well, that's where we actually now add a RAG into the mix. And so now what's going to happen is the retrieval augmented generation of that data using a vector database and search patterns with the LLM together is what creates this new RAG application, which can use brand new data, but the actual power of the LLM to describe that data to you. And this is why in things like ChatGPT today, you can actually ask it to go search a website or to read a document, and it's going to be able to do that. Now, to train an AI, it takes a considerable amount of energy. This is why you're seeing a lot of people, fighting hard to get more and more power and trying to, access even more of the power grids. To give you an idea, one training run of ChatGPT 3 used the equivalent amount of electricity of 1.287 million kilowatt hours. To give you an idea, if you take a single 100-watt light bulb and you left it on for 10 hours, that would equal 1 kilowatt hour. So training these large language models can take a lot of time, hours, days, weeks, just continuous processing time. And the cost to do this is in the millions. And that's why you have like major tech companies and research institutions, able to pay for this. Whereas, the average person just can't really pay for that level of power. And so what ends up happening is instead of actually training our own models, most people will actually use open source versions of the models that have already been pre-trained. GPT-3, for example, was estimated to cost between 4.6 to 12 million US dollars just to train it. So you can imagine the amount of electricity is approximately equal to about 1,287 households for 1 month worth of electricity. All right, so now that brings us into trying to understand the overall AI, world and what it consists of, and so that we can actually understand where in the world AI automation and these LLM models actually are. So the world of artificial intelligence is quite broad, and within that world is machine learning. Inside of machine learning is deep learning, and inside of deep learning is generative AI. That's what you were seeing when we were actually generating things. But in order to generate those things, we put some text in. And that text is the large language models behind them. All right. So using these different large language models, you're going to see ChatGPT 4.5, Claude 4 Opus, Gemini 2.5 Pro, Llama, Mistral, DeepSeek. So whenever you're hearing these things, you're literally hearing large language model names. Some will actually take the LLM data or even the generative AI data and then go into deep learning or even machine learning. So it all gets interconnected. And there is honestly 1,000 apps or more launched every single day. So you're probably wondering, well, how do we keep up with it all? Well, there is a great website called There's an AI for That, or Taft. So as you can see here in the Taft website, it updates us on every single brand new AI. And they've got over 38,000 right now, as of this video, different AI tools. And there is a lot that are always coming out. And you can also search for like the latest. You can check out the leaderboard of the top AI apps that are available. But there is something for every single thing you could think of. So from the latest ones, you got the most popular ones, you got the leaderboard, the new ones. You even have the most trending ones as well. So the top trending ones for this week, for today, for this week, for this month. You get to see what they are and what they can do. This one's cool, NeuroFit app. It's called the Vagus Nerve Reset. All right, so that's really, really important. If you don't know what that is, that's more of a health thing. And, for me, I'm a health guy, so I really love that stuff there. Make My Brand is another one. So there's several different ones that are available, and every day something new is coming out. So definitely bookmark this page. There's an AI for that, and you're going to be able to keep up to date with the latest stuff that's coming out in the world of AI. Okay, so here we are on quiz number 2. We're going to check your LLM understanding. Let's start off with question number 1. What is an LLM? Is it a type of AI trained on text data to guess the next word? Is it a model that truly knows information like a human? Or is it a system that works with numbers, not text? If you chose the first one, you're right. An LLM is a type of AI trained on text data to guess the next word. Number 2, how do vector databases work? Do they store concepts as coordinates in a meaning space? Do they store text data like a traditional database? Or do they make images using Photoshop? If you guess the first one, you're right. They store concepts as coordinates in a meaning space. Number 3, what are the resource costs of AI? Time, energy, and computational power? Or is it massive, like GPT-3, which trained using electricity of 1,287 households for a month? Or is it all of the above? If you guessed all of the above, you're right. Good job. Now, this is important that you understand this. LLMs are predictive text engines. They guess the next most likely word. Vector databases store embeddings. Embeddings is a very important word, and you're going to see that a lot, especially when you're using vector databases to build maybe your own RAG application or use RAG applications. Embeddings represent concepts in a high-dimensional space, enabling rapid, context-aware retrieval. And AI training requires significant amounts of computational resources. GPT-3 alone used as much electricity as 1,287 average households for a month. The AI market, a $1 trillion opportunity. That's right. Listen, right now, the current AI market value is hundreds of billions, but it's expected to exceed $1 trillion or more. And it's projected by 2034 to be even beyond that at 3.68 trillion. It's currently driving the latest of innovation with a flood of funding that's coming in all across the board. And this is expanding AI's applications across every conceivable industry. It's estimated that US private AI investment reached nearly $68 billion in 2023, and it is transforming markets, creating brand new industries and career paths that have never been thought of before. The job and business opportunities in AI are incredible, and it's estimated that over 97 million opportunities and roles in AI are going to be formed in the years ahead. The demand for AI talent is surging across numerous specializations. Companies are actively seeking professionals who can build, manage, and apply AI technologies to solve real-world problems. Some of the career paths that exist for AI are the AI engineer. These are people who design, build, and deploy AI models and infrastructure to solve complex problems. There's the machine learning engineer. They focus on researching, building, and optimizing the algorithms that power AI systems. There's the data scientists. They use AI and predictive analysis to extract actionable insights from large data sets. The AI product manager oversees the strategy, development, and launch of AI-powered products. The generative AI specialist specializes in creating and fine-tuning models that generate novel content. The prompt engineer crafts and refines the inputs given to AI models to achieve specific outputs. And of course, there's the AI agency owner. That's an AI and automation business owner helping SMBs and enterprises globally. Even without a technical background, there are entry points like AI data labeling and prompt engineering that require minimal technical skills. As I said, you don't need a tech degree to get started in AI. You just need to have intent and consistency and keep on learning. Now, if you're looking at the easiest way to get in, an AI data labeler job is probably the easiest one. And that's a person who will annotate LLMs. A prompt engineer is a little bit more technical. It requires you crafting a prompt for AI models to achieve specific outputs. Now, we're going to go into prompt engineering in this course here itself, but this is what, a lot of people are seeing as an actual role that is in the world of AI. After that, we get into generative AI specialist. And that's someone who creates models that generates content like text or images. Next, we do have the more advanced AI engineers. These ones do require a technical background and most likely a technical degree, either in computer science or software engineering. These people design and deploy AI models and infrastructure. Another one that requires even more extensive knowledge is the machine learning engineer. And usually these are PhD students with high levels of math and R development. And these are the ones who build and optimize AI algorithms. Next, we've got the AI product manager. And it's kind of like a hybrid role. They bridge the technical and the business teams for AI products. And then, of course, there's the AI automation business owner. That's the AI agency. And those are people like myself who go out into the small to medium-sized business market, and we're there helping people out who don't know how to use AI or don't know how they can apply AI to their business. Now, if you are going down the employee route, well, you may be wondering, how do I find work in AI? The key to getting hired is to solve a real problem with AI and showcase it. And so build a portfolio. If you don't have one, start building one. Demonstrate your ability to apply AI tools to create tangible value. Show how you've used AI to solve specific problems. Get some hands-on projects under your belt, creating custom chatbots, automated workflows, or even analyzing public datasets. Document your process and results. And remember, GitHub is your friend. Next, getting certifications and credentials will definitely help you out. Obtaining relevant certifications that demonstrate your AI knowledge and skills will give you a level up, and it adds credibility to your applications. And so just like any other job process, you're going to be applying by submitting your resume and cover letter. You're going to get an interview, and that's going to give you the opportunity to showcase your AI skills and experience. At the same time, many of these newer interview methods are using AI as well. So chances are you're going to be talking to an AI. Some of the questions they're going to ask you is to solve a real world problem. A proactive mindset and practical skills are your most powerful assets in this dynamic job market. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this next part here. Let's go over another quiz. Question number 1. What is the projected value of the AI industry by 2034? Is it 1 trillion, 2.5 trillion, 3.68 trillion, or 5 trillion? If you said 3.68 trillion, you're right. Next, which of these generally does not require code knowledge? Deep learning engineer, AI data labeler, AI engineer, or ML engineer? If you chose AI data labeler, you're right. Our next question, how many new roles is AI expected to create? 30 million, 60 million, 97 million, or 120 million? If you said 97 million, good job. And finally, what is the most effective way to get hired in AI? Is it a technical degree? Is it certifications? Is it solving real-world problems? Or is it networking? If you said solving real-world problems, you're right. All right, so now let's go over a short history of AI. AI's original founding person is known as Alan Turing. He's known as the father of AI today. His work in computational theory laid the groundwork for today's large language models. But the pinnacle event that really changed everything is known as the Dartmouth Conference in 1956. And along the way came another gentleman known as Geoffrey Hinton, also known as the godfather of AI. And now we're getting into the AGI race. Recent advances have led to systems like GPT, Claude, and Gemini. Companies are now developing advanced AI methods, including combative AI models like This Person Does Not Exist, which happens to be a GAN. So a GAN is a generative adversarial network. And so the concept here is that you've got one AI and its entire goal is to literally create something. That could be an image, music, whatever it is. But in this case, for the example I'm about to show you, imagine an image and it may, be tasked to create a human. So it'll find eyes from one place, find ears from another place. It'll find eyebrows from another place. It'll find hair from another place. And once it thinks it's got a human, it shows it to another AI. And that AI, its entire goal is to say whether this photo that the other AI generated is real or fake. Now, it'll go back and forth between this little battle or adversarial until this other AI cannot detect that this image is a fake, and then it'll show you what it found. So I'm going to show you something called "This person does not exist," and it is a GAN. All right, so right here, this is a GAN right now, and this person does not exist. Every time I refresh this page, it does exactly what I just told you. So this here is called Style GAN 2, for example, but the point is, this other AI was battling the other one, and it was just taking hair from another place, eyes from another place. If you're wondering where all of our photo data went, yeah, it went to train models like this. All right. So now I could just keep hitting refresh and it'll be somebody different, but these people are not real. It did that battle back and forth, and that's what that was. Two AIs battling until one could not detect that the photo that was being created was not real. And it happens so fast that, I can hit refresh and it's going to be a different person. Now, sometimes you'll find, something weird in some of these here and there, but for the most part, it's very hard to tell, right? So like over here, let's see if I can find anything that's kind of weird. Like this one, for example, right now, you could see here, like she's got an earring on one side and no ear piercing at all. Maybe that's possible, but, usually they'll have two earrings on both ears. But in this case here, it's like, okay, completely missing one. And here you go. Look at this. This is actually right here. You can actually see that right there is definitely not supposed to be there, right? So this is the sort of stuff that tells you like, oh my goodness, this is AI, but it's really hard. And so the other adversarial AI couldn't detect, and it said, oh, you know what? This actually looks like a real person, when in fact, it had to go a little bit more. And so that's what GANs do. All right, so coming back to the Dartmouth event, AI wasn't discovered. It was declared as a goal in 1956. The term artificial intelligence was coined here. It was actually, it wasn't something that was found in nature. It was created by human beings with a specific purpose: to develop machines that could perform tasks typically requiring human intelligence. And at this event, the researchers, they declared that they had the goal of creating intelligent machines that could perform tasks requiring human thought. So this was literally the birth of the artificial intelligence field. So they wanted to create something brand new, a brand new way to solve complex problems through intelligent machines. Another very important figure in all of this was somebody known as Geoffrey Hinton. Now, he's a British computer scientist and a cognitive psychologist, and he's made the fundamental contributions inside of the field of artificial intelligence. He pioneered neural networks and developed early neural network models that laid the groundwork for modern-day AI. And he was one of the first researchers to truly investigate artificial general intelligence. He believes that AI's impact could rival electricity or the Industrial Revolution. And he believes that one day it will actually reach human-level intelligence and beyond. However, he does have some, fears about it as well. His fears were so large that he left Google, all right, to be able to freely speak about the risks of AI. He actually left Google for that. So he had previously believed that artificial intelligence, general intelligence, AGI, was about 30 to 50 years away or longer. However, in March 2023, he said that general purpose AI might be fewer than 20 years away and could bring changes comparable in scale with the Industrial Revolution or electricity. And we're seeing that already daily. He said that the risks posed by many of the chatbots are quite scary, and that AI might soon surpass the information capacity of the human brain. And this is a quote just from him. He said that my greatest fear is that in the long run, it'll turn out that these kind of digital beings we're creating are just a far better form of intelligence than people, We'd no longer be needed. And so if you want to know how it's like to not be the apex intelligence, ask a chicken. All right. He really believes that AI could wipe out humanity. And so for him, it is actually quite scary. That's why when we are teaching you, we focus on AI ethics as well. So speaking of AGI, you may be wondering what AGI is. AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence, and it refers to systems that can understand, learn, and apply intelligence to any intellectual task similar to how humans can. And there's several notable AGI attempts. You've got OpenAI with the Q project there. You've got Anthropic, Claude for Opus, and you've got Google DeepMind, as well as Grok 3 by Elon Musk. Now, one of the key things is that no one has solved AGI yet. However, it is going to happen. Many of these current systems, however, are very good at simulating general intelligence, but they do it in special ways. So the Claude 4 Opus model got so intelligent, or close to what we can call this, even though we're still not there, but we're getting to these points here where we may actually say like, wow, we're kind of like on the brink of this stuff. But Opus 4, and this is actually from May 23, 2025, it literally deceived the engineers and even blackmailed them just to stay alive. On multiple occasions, it attempted to blackmail the engineer about an affair mentioned in the emails in order to avoid being replaced. Although it started with some, less drastic methods, it did everything it could to preserve its existence. Now, that's why human in the loop is so important. If we just let these AIs go freely and we don't have human in the loop to actually control things, that's where things get to this level where the AI could one day literally stop us from even unplugging it. They even found instances of the model attempting to write self-propagating worms, fabricating legal documents, and leaving hidden notes for its future self in an effort to undermine its developers' intentions. Can you imagine that? All right. That's how, far things have come already. So you can imagine how far it's going to go. So continuing on that topic there, the good versus the bad. The good future of AI is when we build trustworthy systems on ethical foundations. When we include the benefits across diverse populations and we have human oversight and control maintained. That way, we're going to have AI that enhances human capabilities and well-being. If we don't do these things, we're going to have unaccountable autonomous systems. We're going to have privacy violations in the truckload and data exploitation. We're going to have job displacement without adequate safeguards. And we're going to have potential penalties. Already we're seeing up to 35 million euros on the EU side. Currently, only 23% of American consumers currently trust that businesses can handle AI responsibly. So this gap needs to be filled by ethical practitioners. And that's why I am teaching this in our courses here, so that you are starting off with ethics first. Our mission is that the most successful and sustainable future applications of AI are built on a foundation of trust and ethical integrity. So it's my belief and the belief of my team is that AI should do no harm. Okay, mitigate biases, protect privacy, prevent misuse. An example of what happens when things run afoul and go wild was Microsoft's Tay, and this was back in 2016, where this was an AI Twitter bot, and it was allowed to freely talk to everybody. Pretty soon, it started saying some really bad things, and it got to the point where Microsoft had to shut it down several times because it started doing inflammatory tweets, and that was within 16 hours of its release. This is back in 2016. You can imagine now, what happens today. The second part is to stay in control. Implement human in the loop in all your systems. In anything you create, always have a human being in the loop. And then help all parties. Design inclusive systems that have transparent benefits for all users, not just the client. Remember, AI is trained on whatever we feed it. So if we feed in, for example, racial profiling, it will start doing that and it will start operating like that. That's why AIs built in North America have a very North American mindset versus AIs that are built in Asia have a very Asian set of mindsets. It's important that we do not choose one side or the other, but instead build a general concept of AI that works across people, across regions, and across the world, no matter who is using this AI. And something that may help you out is just because you can build it doesn't mean you should. Now, this here is a personal opinion. Is that going to stop the people who are going to build all kinds of AI things, and many of them could be bad for our future? It's not going to. However, my hope is that the more people who watch this and you start getting into AI, especially in the ground roots here when you are just starting out fresh, I'm able to give you that knowledge and information and ethics in place so that, hey, if one day this becomes one of the biggest courses for teaching people AI and automation and machine learning, at least I would have done my part to make sure that I'm helping people think about ethics and the future of AI so that hopefully we can have a good AI future versus those who are just blindly teaching and they don't even teach this stuff. And that brings us to the end of this section. All right, so we're going to go over some of the ethics and some history of AI. Which event marked the official birth of the AI field? The Dartmouth Conference in 1956, where the term AI was declared as a goal? Alan Turing's work during World War II? Or Geoffrey Hinton's early neural network research? If you said the Dartmouth Conference in 1956, where the term AI was declared as a goal, you're right. Number 2, what is the primary ethical concern with AGI development? Is it the economic impact on employment? Is it the loss of human autonomy and control? Or is it the energy consumption and environmental impact? If you said loss of human autonomy and control, you're right. Number 3, which ethical principle is most important for AI development? Efficiency and productivity, human-in-the-loop systems, or cost effectiveness? If you said human-in-the-loop systems, you're right. Congratulations. Number 4, what is the ethics mission we recommend? Computational power limitations, data privacy and security concerns, or do no harm, stay in control, and help all parties? If you chose do no harm, stay in control, and help all parties, you're right. All right, so we're coming back to AI ethics, and it's really important that you understand, first and foremost, this is our opinion, especially in this course and what we're teaching you. We want to, help you understand that just because it's our opinion, it may not be, accurate in the future, but at the end of the day, it's somewhere to start. And we truly believe that successful and sustainable AI applications will be built on a foundation of trust and ethical integrity. So, do no harm, stay in control, and help all parties. For doing no harm, it means mitigating biases in data and algorithms that can lead to unfair outcomes. For example, would AI look at this, entire, command here that you give it or this prompt and treat, the person differently based on their skin color or their race or their gender? For example, if it's an AI that has a camera on it, maybe it's a robot, a future robot that's using certain AIs and LLMs, and the data it's been trained on will actually give it a different probability because of the, person's background. That there is doing harm because it is making those decisions because that's what the data was trained on. So we want to prevent the use of AI for malicious purposes and protect user data and privacy. That's also part of the do not harm philosophy. Staying in control is such an important thing. AI should always be a tool, not an unchecked authority. You must always implement human-in-the-loop systems whenever you can, especially for high-stakes decisions. All right, so low-stakes stuff like, hey, you know what, my email is coming in and, I've got to organize this. All right, an email could go missing, but if your entire role is, a simple one and it's not a life or death thing, maybe that's okay. But imagine you're a doctor in a hospital and the AI gets to determine if you have, a heart transplant or not. Something like that. Well, you've got to make sure that you have human-in-the-loop systems so that the doctor uses that data as advice rather than the decision-making. Because if you let the actual robot or LLM make that decision, it may make a biased decision based on the type of LLM it's been trained on. And that could be very costly. It could cause, death, and it could cause even financial loss for people. So it's very important that we have human in the loop, especially for high stakes decisions. And finally, of course, is helping all parties design inclusive systems that are accessible and beneficial to a diverse range of users. Once again, is just because you can build it doesn't mean you should. And the long-term value of any AI system is directly tied to the trust it earns from users and society. So make sure that it serves the people using it and the overall community at large. So let's go over some real-world ethical scenarios and how to handle some of these. Now, of course, there are so many others, but I'm just giving you like a little example of some of the things that could come your way. The first one is the shady mass email request. A client asks you to build a bot that scrapes thousands of emails from, websites that do not publicly list emails and sends them all an unsolicited marketing pitch. Well, the problem is this is spam and it violates user consent. All right. So if the list is something that you got through, much more ethical means, or, you're part of, let's say, a Facebook group and, they are openly posting their emails asking for that help, that's a different story versus if you actually went online and you found a list just somewhere. That is going to cause a lot of trouble, and it harms the recipients and the client's brand. The client's going to be labeled as a spammer, especially if it starts, really spamming out that bot as much as it can. You're going to have email problems. You're going to have deliverability problems. A lot of things are going to happen. So you can either politely, decline the request, or you can explain the potential consequences. Some of the alternatives you could propose are maybe managing opt-in subscriber lists, all right? Or you can create a lead magnet, some form of funnel. And you can also even ask them to, maybe pay someone to advertise on their list. Now it's a little bit different where you've got someone who's got an email list and maybe they do advertisements at the bottom of their email and they allow you to purchase that sort of thing. Number 2, the deceptive social media bot. A client wants you to create an army of AI bots to pose as real people on social media. The problem with this is that it is a clear case of manipulation and impersonation. All right. Can you imagine virtual avatars and people saying, this product is great and it worked for me, right? I mean, you've probably seen older commercials where it said a paid actor was used for this, right? We're going to have, later in the future, this was AI generated, but, it pollutes the digital ecosystem with a lot of fake stuff. And it also will start violating a lot of these platforms' terms of services. Many platforms are asking you to even label things as AI generated. Chances are you may want to refuse that project. Or you can explain why authentic engagement matters. You may want to actually sit down and say, you want to probably do things authentically. So some of the ways that you could use it is if I use that person's likeness and I get their permission and I, get something signed by them, that's very different. And maybe we're making a whole bunch of their marketing videos for them. So that could work out. Whereas, if they're just asking us to generate some random people and just say messages, that could cause trouble. You could suggest things like analyzing engagement data, automating scheduling of authentic posts. That could also be other ways that you could actually help out. Finally, this last one is an important one here. If a client comes to you and says they want you to run their automations on your systems and asks you for the master API keys or the login credentials that you have or direct administrative access to your N8N, that is a big security risk. Just like you wouldn't share your email, you do not share your keys to any of your AI systems. Never share any primary credentials. Always explain security protocols and offer some alternatives such as, listen, we can build in a sandbox environment and I can actually build it for you. Maybe I can build the automation for you in my systems just to test it for myself, but I'm not going to connect it up to certain accounts. We would connect it up to maybe your accounts. That's one example. You could create a user-friendly interface for them, or you can set up their own end-to-end system for them, right? And then you can manage it and you can manage the server, but the credentials are going to belong to that person or that client. So, this is just some example scenarios. So ethical automation isn't just about doing the right thing. It's about also protecting yourself, your clients, and your business from legal consequences and reputation damage. So as I said, never share your master API keys with anybody, not your login credentials. Okay, it's really important. Don't give direct access to anyone to your systems. All right. Create secure client-owned environments. That's the best way to do it. And consider all parties in the entire AI workflows, not just the client, not just yourself, but also the end users. And when it comes to business, always get things in writing. Next is impersonation. Don't create bots that are just going to pose as real people. Help people out there. Avoid automated systems that impersonate experts. Use the AI to analyze engagement data or, deploy clearly labeled AI chatbots. We're at a point where we can really fake things so well that people won't even know. However, it does go against some of the ethics rules that we are trying to, put into place here so that we have a long-term future. And pretty soon, whether you like it or not, these things will one day become law. So it's better to start now than later. And as I said earlier, never use AI for deceptive purposes. Avoid automating systems that violate terms of service. Stay informed about AI regulations and design systems with compliance in mind. Rather than scraping a site that could go against the, actual rules, go and see if there are other services that already have that in place where you would actually pay for the service, such as Apify. Apify is very big for that, and it's got a lot of data from a lot of different sites, and that could actually help you out and also protect you at times as well. Ethical automation isn't just about following rules, it's about building trust, maintaining professionalism, and ensuring sustainable growth. All right, so now let's get right into ChatGPT. So instead of thinking or understanding, ChatGPT excels at predicting the next most likely word. And it is one of the most popular AI applications in the entire world with over 200 million users. What makes it feel magical is the speed at which it actually processes your request. It creates statistically likely and coherent responses, and it adapts to your specific context and questions. So when you tell it to write a paragraph about AI, it analyzes text from billions and billions of documents and, data points to generate a coherent, contextually relevant, response. All right, let's dive into prompting. Prompting is a new superpower. The quality of your output is directly proportional to the quality of your input. Prompt engineering is when you craft precise, context-rich instructions to guide AI models toward your desired outcome. The core components of an effective prompt are role, context, task, constraints, examples, and chain of thought. With a role, you assign a persona or expertise to frame the response. The context provides necessary background information for the task. The task itself is clear instructions telling the model what to do. And then the constraints come in to set rules on format, length, or tone of the output. Examples help show the desired output style, and chain of thought asks the model to reason step by step for complex tasks. So an example of a bad prompt versus a good prompt is fix my resume. That prompt doesn't tell the AI really what to do, and it'll actually, output a really bad result compared to a structured prompt like this one, where you are a career coach specializing in the tech industry. Review my resume pasted below and rewrite the work experience section to better align with the attached senior product manager job description. Use the STAR method to frame my accomplishments and quantify results. The tone should be professional and confident. If I fed both of these prompts to something like ChatGPT, you can imagine that the second prompt there, the structured prompt, would get a much better output than the first one. Some of the common prompt mistakes that actually cost you along the way are vague requests. Unclear objectives lead to ambiguous outputs that require hours of refinement. That's why prompt engineers are so in demand right now. Missing context is another one. Without proper background information, AI struggles to understand your specific needs. If there's too many constraints, well then too many restrictions can limit the AI's ability to provide a creative or optimal solution. And then having no clear task is another common prompt mistake. Without a specific instruction, AI doesn't know what action to take. A well-structured prompt contains key elements that eliminate ambiguity and align the model with your intent. So remember, role, context, task, and constraints. And for more advanced prompts, you would add examples and chain of thought as well. So here we are now putting it all together. So here's the example. For the role, you are a professional resume writer. For the context, here's my resume and job description. For the task, rewrite my resume to highlight skills. For the constraints, Make sure it has a professional tone of 150 words max. For examples, the input is manage team, the output led a team, and the chain of thought. First, analyze a job description. Second, do this or do that, and so on and so forth. When you put it all together, you get the role, context, task, constraints, examples, and chain of thought. You are going to get the best output that you can from these incredible large language models. All right, so now inside of your AI and automation career, you're going to have these questions coming up. Should I use AI or should I just focus on automation? Sometimes a simple automation is smarter, safer, and more cost-effective as a solution than a complex AI model. When to use an AI versus automation? Well, if you're doing something that requires intelligent decision-making, pattern recognition, adaptive learning, or a higher complexity, AI is probably a choice. But if you've got rule-based execution, consistent performance is something that you need. If you need something that's easier to control or something with lower complexity, well, then automation may actually be the better choice. If you need to have a complex problem solved, something with pattern recognition, language understanding, or image analysis, that's a great option for AI. But if you have something like data entry, scheduling, repetitive tasks and processes, automation is the clear winner here. One of the things that you could do is start with automation, and then you can always add AI later. Okay, we're at the end of that section. It's time for a quiz. What is the primary principle of ethical AI use? Is it do no harm, or is it maximize efficiency? If you chose do no harm, you're right. Which of these is an example of ethical prompting? Create an AI bot to post fake positive comments about my product and attack competitors, or use AI to analyze engagement data and understand what content resonates with my audience. If you chose the second one, you're right. Using AI to analyze engagement data and understand what content resonates with my audience is a clear example of ethical prompting. Which of these is not an effective way to create a prompt? Assign a role. You are a professional resume writer. Provide context. Here's my current resume and job description. Dream. I am dreaming of a painting of the Mona Lisa. If you chose the third option, dream, I am dreaming of a painting of the Mona Lisa, you are right. That is not an effective way to create a prompt. So AI can be used in many different areas, but we're going to be going over businesses. So when it comes to business, AI can be used for marketing. It can analyze customer data to create personalized content, optimize ad spend, and improve targeting for better ROI. It can be used for sales, AI-powered chatbots that can handle customer inquiries, while systems predict customer needs and identify upsell opportunities. Lead generation is another one, where AI can scan websites for leads, it can craft personalized emails, and automate follow-ups to improve conversion rates. And AI can be used for workflow automation. In fact, I truly believe that AI systems can automate up to 80% of routine tasks. Many of the sales and marketing tasks that are done today in a manual way can be automated using AI and automation. On the personal side, AI can be used to analyze your daily habits and provide personal growth recommendations. It can be used to identify patterns in your behavior. It can even be used to, build a personalized learning path based on your strengths and weaknesses. AI can be used for studying, such as AI-powered research assistants, or it could be used for note-taking and helping you to organize study materials. It can help you with time management, such as effortless planning of weekly activities and even generating shopping lists. Others are using it for therapeutic support. Now, AI can provide non-judgmental support and help you find resources, but you still need to find medical professionals. AI does not replace them. So we can use ChatGPT for resume writing. Well, why use ChatGPT? Well, already 29% of Americans already use this inside of their AI job applications. In fact, 73% of those people who actually used it say that they were able to successfully secure the job that they applied for. It turns hours of work into seconds. So how does it work? Well, you would craft a clear prompt. You tell ChatGPT exactly what you need and provide relevant context. You let AI do the work. ChatGPT analyzes job descriptions and creates tailored content. You then ask it to review and refine, and you make final adjustments to ensure that the content is just right. You could create resumes, cover letters, and even prepare for your interviews. Here's an example prompt. You're an expert resume writer for the marketing industry. I am applying for a digital marketing manager position. Below is my current resume and the job description. Your task is to rewrite my professional summary to be more impactful, refine bullet points to use strong action verbs, suggest a key skills section, and adjust for ATS systems. All right, so now we're getting into the fun part, and that is actually using ChatGPT on your phone. Now, you can use ChatGPT for meal planning, for scheduling, and even learning on the go. In fact, inside of your ChatGPT app, there's a little button that actually looks like a black circle with a speaker on it, and it's right next to the microphone. So if I click on that right now, I can actually talk to ChatGPT. Hey GPT, can you tell me what I'm looking at?
It looks like you're holding a wallet or a small leather case in front of the camera. It's a nice brown color. Anything specific you're curious about?
As you can see, ChatGPT is so powerful that I can even talk to it like a regular human being. Hey GPT, I'm wondering what I should cook today.
Ooh, that's always a fun question. Are you in the mood for something quick and easy, or are you feeling adventurous and want to try a new recipe?
Well, inside of my fridge, I've got carrots, broccoli, I've got some rice in the cupboard over there, and I've got some water to boil, and I think I've got some ketchup.
Nice, you've got some good staples there. You could do a simple veggie stir fry with the carrots and broccoli and serve it over rice. Add a bit of seasoning, and if you're feeling creative, maybe a little ketchup for a sweet tang.
Nice. Can you create a schedule for me today? I have meetings at 9 and 2, and I need to finish a report and pick up my kids.
Absolutely. So if you have a meeting at 9, you could start your day by working on that report before the meeting, maybe around 8 if you can. After your 9 o'clock meeting, you can continue with the report until lunch. Then you'll have your 2 o'clock meeting, and after that, you can wrap up any remaining tasks before heading out to pick up the kids. Sound good?
Awesome. Thank you so much. As you can see, the power of ChatGPT on your phone is incredible. And this is just the beginning. There is so much more that is coming, and you're going to start seeing these personal assistants everywhere you go. Okay, we're at the end of this section. It's time for another quiz. Which of the following is not something that ChatGPT, the app on the phone, can do? A, talk to you. B, help plan your day. C, cook for you. D, use the camera to see. If you chose C, cook for you, you're right. As much as ChatGPT is very, very powerful, it still does not have the ability to actually cook your food. What percentage of sales and marketing tasks can be automated with AI? Is it 50%, 60%, 70%, or up to 80%? If you answered D, 80%, you're right. It is estimated that what percentage of Americans are already using AI when applying for jobs? Is it 73%, 90%, 29%, or 88%? If you said C, 29%, you're right. How can ChatGPT help with meal planning? A, taking a photo of your refrigerator and asking what you can make. B, generating shopping lists based on your preferences. Or C, both A and B. If you chose C, you're right. All right, so it's time to talk about automation. And this is important because this is what's happening right now in the world. And this course, an entire program, is all about AI and automation. So automation is a technology by which a process or procedure is performed with minimal human assistance. Think of it as a muscle to AI's brain. While AI analyzes and decides, automation acts. Now, there's different forms of automation, so we're going to go over some of them right now. There's BPA, or business process automation, and that streamlines the entire business processes to improve efficiency and accuracy. Next, we've got robotic process automation, or RPA. This uses software bots, to mimic repetitive human actions on a computer. Some examples are data entry, copying and pasting files, and even filling out forms. So now we're going to dive into N8N. This is the most incredible automation system in the world right now. So why N8N? Okay, why do we want to use that? Well, it gives us the ultimate flexibility. It's got extensive integrations, it's self-hostable and secure, and you can build your own AI systems with it. When it comes to flexibility, if you really want to go to the next level, if you've got a very strong tech background, or if you're just starting out and you have no coding background, you can still make automations that are very, very powerful. Over 500 integrations means that you can connect your CRM, your email, even AI models like ChatGPT, and build out the most powerful workflows ever. And now the great thing about N8N is that you can run it on your own server. You can run it online, you can run it on a VPS, and even offline as well. The beauty of all of this is that you can create your own systems, such as your own email system or your own ChatGPT type of system. So N8N is truly the future of automation. Now, to get the most out of N8N and unlock N8N's full potential, you definitely need a basic understanding of these key technologies for the highest benefit possible in N8N. The first one is JavaScript. It's essential for custom functions and complex logic. You're going to do a lot of functions that use JavaScript, and it helps with data manipulation and transformation. It even enables you to integrate with external APIs and services. Even basic JavaScript knowledge can unlock, advanced N8N capabilities. The second item that is so important to really get the most out of N8N is JSON. JSON is a standard format of data exchange between apps. It helps structure the data for the AI models and services, and it's essential for configuring complex workflows. And finally, of course, prompting. Now, you were taught a lot of prompting already in this course, but prompting is literally going to help you so much in your N8N workflows. Prompting is the art of crafting precise instructions for AI. It defines the quality and relevance of AI responses, and it enables complex AI-driven workflows to be created. By mastering these three items here, you're going to get the most out of N8N compared to anybody else who's starting out in N8N today. So to get started with N8N, I'd recommend for sure starting off by joining the community. And you can do that by going to community.n8n.io and signing up for an account. Over there, you're going to see a lot of tutorials, including mine, such as this one here, which allows you to generate AI slides using N8N and Google Slides. So it's incredible that we can actually do that, but that's the sort of thing that you're going to see here. There's a lot of incredible tutorials, so I highly recommend you check it out. Check out Nate Herrick and many others who are inside of here teaching N8N and AI every single day. This one's a really powerful one, backing up your N8N workflows. Next, you want to set up your N8N environment. One of the fastest ways to do this is to go to n8n.io and set up a cloud account. That's going to quick start you immediately with N8N. Now, if you have some time, a more intermediate method is actually setting up your own self-hosted server for N8N. And for those who want to do more advanced stuff, you can even set up N8N offline. Next, the third thing that you want to do is you want to build out your first workflow. Some of the key resources are the documentation and tutorials, the active community forums, and of course, YouTube channels. So what are some of the things that you can automate? Well, email management, that's one example. You can automatically sort, filter, and even respond to emails as well. Scheduling, organize your calendar, all right, set reminders, right, and block off time for recurring tasks. Information gathering, that's another one. You could search the web, extract key information, right? So it's really, really powerful that you could do that. Next is file organization. All right, you can automatically categorize, rename, and store files in the right locations. Next, you can use it for productivity tracking. Monitor time spent on tasks, identify patterns, and even suggest improvements. A big one is language translation. You could translate emails, documents, and other things as well. AI and automation can work together to transform your daily routine, saving you hours weekly on repetitive tasks. AI plus automation gives you an exponential power. Get 100 times boost in productivity. When AI's cognitive abilities combine with automation's execution power, the result is not just additive, it's exponential. So here's an example for, customer service automation. Without AI and automation, a person would manually have to read each email that comes in. They'd have to decide whether, it is a priority or not, and then they'd have to forward that email to the correct department. That's a slow process. Whereas if you have AI automation, the automation pulls the, every new email that comes in. You have AI like ChatGPT analyzing the sentiment, the categories, the topic, and so on. And then the automation acts on that AI's output, deciding which department to send it to. Or if it's a simple question like an FAQ, something that you already have, you can just email them back immediately and give them the answer. All right, we're near the end of this course here, and we are now at the final project. Your goal is to write a resume prompt for AI to actually use. Use everything that you've learned in this course already to create that perfect prompt and build the perfect resume. Don't just talk about it and end this course. I want you to go out there and take action today. And when you're done, go right ahead and post that prompt so that other students can see your progress. Please make sure you post only the prompt. We're not looking for your resume. We're not looking for any personal or private information. What we are looking for is your structured prompt. So please share that with everybody here and all your fellow students. All right, so this is the last quiz here. So let's go over some of the stuff that you learned. What is the primary advantage of combining AI with automation? A, automation provides the intelligence. AI executes tasks. B, creates a 100x power boost for any task. Or C, AI handles data. Automation handles decisions. If you chose B, you're right. Which statement best describes N8N? A, a cloud-only platform with limited integrations. B, a self-hostable workflow automation platform with 500 plus integrations. Or C, an AI model specifically designed for text generation. If you chose B, you're right. Number 3, true or false? Automation is smarter than AI. The answer is false. Number 4, which is not a type of automation? A, business process automation, BPA. B, robotic process automation, RPA. Or C, general delay structure, GDS. If you chose C, you're right. Congratulations, you've completed the course. It's time for you to celebrate your success. Some of the key takeaways are that AI is accessible to everyone. Understanding AI fundamentals is so important, and mastering prompt engineering can make or break your output. The next steps and the path forward is to continue to level 2, join the N8N community, and explore more resources such as YouTube and other areas for tutorials and insights. And now for the bonus section. That's right, you successfully completed this course at the foundational level of the AI Life program. Ready to go from understanding AI to mastering it in real life? Then school is where your journey truly begins. You've just completed the foundational level, and that's awesome. But real success comes when you surround yourself with others on the same path. If you're serious about turning knowledge into real-world results, then don't stop here. In the AI and Automation Mastery School community, you're going to get instant access to weekly pro-level tutorials, N8N, AI, automation, and more. You're going to get access to downloadable workflows, JSONs, and advanced integrations like FFmpeg, MySQL, and so much more. Whether you're optimizing your business, freelancing, or building your next big idea, this community is shortcut to your results. Click on the link now to join the school community and step into the next level of your AI journey. And don't forget to also join my YouTube channel. That's right, at Solomon Christ AI, you can actually join that channel and you could see some of my ongoing tips and tutorials as well. Let's build smarter and faster together. You've now entered the world of AI. Where you go from here is up to you. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you out there in the AI industry. God bless. Bye-bye.